My name is Princess Garrett, and I am part of the 258th graduating class at Girls High. So I originally wanted to go to Kappa because I'm a musician, and so I got into the school, and then my dad was like, "No, you're not going there because it's too far, and there's boys there, and Girls High is closer to home." And so you know how your parents have to sign the document for you to go to school? So I wasn't going to forge the signature, so he signed it, and I ended up here. So my experience at Girls High and how it prepared me for my journey, I think a lot of it teaches you about sisterhood. So a lot of the times, like when I think about achieving things in my life, I think about like the women that were there and the women who have inspired me to get there. And so just knowing that it's really important to help other women because they've helped me get to where I am. Like I've just always sought that, like sisterhood, like who are the women that I can depend on to mentor me, guide me, and lead me from doing things that, would waste my time or just not be good. I probably would have picked a different group of friends when I first started my freshman year. Because I was friends with girls that they would talk down on me and then they didn't like me and then they were just always doing shady things and I'm just like, why did I waste time being friends with you? And I didn't find my good friends until junior, senior year, and we're still friends to this day. Like we literally just went out to dinner yesterday. So I really think having a solid group of girls around you, that really shapes your experience at high school and it makes it better. But I just don't get caught up in random things. There's girls here that were they thought being cute was important, and I'm just like, well, that's not gonna pay your bills in a few years. So just really prioritizing things that matter, and I think having a good group of friends really helps you focus on that. As a young Black woman, especially this can either go for if you're a woman or a Black woman. I think you just really have to be confident in what you have to bring to the table, because I think there's lots of situations where I've questioned myself and I'm like, do I need to be here? Do I deserve to be here? Because I wouldn't see other people that look like me in the room. And that can be very not encouraging, because it's why aren't there more people that look like me here? What did I do that, they're not doing to be here? And so just realizing that if you're in a room and you're the only one, you deserve to be there because you did the work to be there. And realize that you have other people coming up underneath you. So really try to do your best and really shine, because you can open up doors for other women that are coming behind you. I went to Villanova University, and I didn't really struggle with the co-ed part, but I struggled with it being a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution. So coming from here, where it's really diverse, but it's also predominantly Black, and going to a school where it's predominantly white, and I was one of 10 Black people on a campus of 10,000 people, that was a culture shock. And there were moments where it was people would say things and it would offend me, but I couldn't get mad because I'm you just don't know, because you just haven't been taught or nobody's talked to you about it. But it's really taught me how to have more patience with people, because I've realized that, your first thing can't be to argue with someone because they've offended you or just don't understand you. It's a teachable moment. Talk to people, understand where they're coming from, and let them hear where you're coming from. Majored in communications and global studies. Communication because I love to write, and also they had a film production major, so it allowed me to do film-like things without having a film program. And I picked global studies because I'm really interested in seeing how people across the globe interact with each other, knowing their history, and just understanding how different cultures influence how we interact towards each other. So the film that we had made was Sankofa, and so it was a class that spanned across a year, and we spent 2 weeks in Ghana, and everything was paid for by the school, and each student kind of gets a role that they pick. So I picked director, people picked editor, cinematographer, and we basically tackled an issue that was given to our professor, and he was talk about Black identity, and we're okay, what are we gonna do with that? There's so many things you could talk about with being Black. And so in Sankofa, we divided up into chapters history and mental slavery, to really talk about how these things, they're all different things, but connected, they all talk about something bigger, a bigger issue, which is really understanding your history to know how to look at the things that have happened in the past and using that to be a catalyst for change in your future and in your communities. And so making the film itself was hard because I've never made a film before. It was the first thing I directed. And so there was a lot of pressure for me to put something good together because this topic is so personal to me. And so it was just a lot of long nights. I would go to class from like 8 to 5, and then I'd be in the lab from like 5 to 4 in the morning, and then still do homework, and then try to do it all again. It actually got so bad that I got depressed, and my professor was like, you don't need to come to class this whole week. And so that's when like the rest of the team was able to pick it up and like finish the film. And I think that speaks to like working with a great team, because if you have a team that understands your vision, it's easier to just produce things. I think like in the filmmaking world, like in entertainment, just being someone who's Black, a woman, and young, like it's a hot thing right now. Diversity is like a hot topic, and they want to work with you, but at the same time, it's like they don't want to work with you because it's like they want to control what you're doing. And like that's my struggle now with making something new. It's like I don't want to give you control of like what I'm working on, because like I worked hard on it, and you're gonna have this opportunity to change it the way you want. And it's like you really have to be you have to protect your baby. Like it's your work. Like you don't want anybody just touching that and doing whatever they want with it. And I think you guys know who Lena Waithe is? You guys don't know? Queen and Slim?
Oh,
yes.
Watched it.
Yeah, she was talking about how like with that film, she made sure that like she had like the Black director, she had like Black writers and everything on that film, because she understood that it was important for us to tell our story. So just doing things like that, I think that's how you can combat bias and like manage it better. I think you have to understand that, you know, with having a certain skin color, just having a certain look, like there's gonna be certain things that you're gonna have to overcome. And at the end of the day, like those are personal battles that like you really have to like deal with and come to terms with. You know, like being Black and like understanding like the struggles I went through wasn't easy, because I'm like, how do I deal with this? Like, how do I like have a conversation with someone about it? But it's like, it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna be awkward, but you have to like talk about it. You have to engage, and you have to want to learn about who you are. And so I think that's the best advice I can give you. Like, especially when you go to college, like you really have to use college and any time beyond that to really understand yourself, because I feel like the better you know yourself, the easier it is to navigate life, and you'll be able to just find what you need quicker. Like if you know you want to be a filmmaker, like you know what schools you want to go to. If you want to be a doctor, you'll know what type of people and things you need to be involved with. So just really understand who you are and what you want out of life. I think that's like the best advice I can give you. So I'm a filmmaker, a struggling and starving artist, as they call it in LA. So I'm working on writing a treatment for my next documentary or docu-narrative. Haven't decided what it's going to be about, but it's either going to be about post-grad depression, or I'm either going to turn Sankofa into a feature. So we'll see. But through filmmaking, I just want to inspire young people to really understand that they can really do anything. Like I think a lot of times we equate talent and wisdom with age, and I think that like that's not true. Like there's some talented filmmakers that are like 16 years old, and I think a lot of times we get discouraged because we're like, oh, it's going to take me until I'm 30 to be where I want to be. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be that way. Like if you have the tools and the resources to do whatever you want to do now, like just do it. Like just encouraging young people to just do whatever it is that they want to do.